Okay, so this is a lucid dream that I had in end of August of probably 2012. Yeah, like, I've written a lot of my experiences down. Obviously not everyone, because that can get pretty tedious, and I don't have like a voice recorder, which would probably be brilliant because my handwriting is like super sloppy, so like I'll go back to try and read my experience and I can't even read all of it, but I'm gonna do my best. Because I didn't record, or like if I would have made a video recording after every experience, it would have been way cool, because the experience is still fresh in your mind and you can go way more in depth than you can with by pen, because sometimes some of my experiences can be pretty lengthy and like my handwriting will start getting all kinds of crazy. But this one's kind of short, and I'm going to share this one with you guys. That's kind of what it seemed like. I was having a conversation with someone in an apartment, in the living room, on the floor, carpet. It was dark, there's no lights on, at night, definitely. So we were sitting on the floor, talking side by side, roughly 6 feet apart. This person seemed to be a friend, but upon reflection, I can't tell if it was a male or a female. Might have been a feminine male, like in personality, or a masculine female, which I think is more likely the case. Anyway, she, I don't know, is talking to me, describing something, and at first, I'm not really paying her/him my full attention. No, this is in parentheses. Before going to bed, I spoke with somebody that I had dated on the phone about wanting to give people my full attention and listening fully, even if it seems unimportant or I may not be interested in what they're talking about. So then it's like in this dream I remembered to listen better. So I asked her/him to repeat themselves, and they did. And when they did, I realized just how detailed and smart this person was. As they went on, I took in more information, and I began to grow more and more lucid. Near the end of them talking, I realized I was in a dream, and I was talking with somebody with awareness. I looked into their eyes, wide-eyed, with astonishment, and they looked into mine, knowing that my own awareness had increased very quickly and suddenly. This person knew I had become aware or lucid. Then I felt myself being tugged back subtly to C1. I call it C1, which I'll get into later. Basically, it's your primary reality or focus of consciousness, which usually is our physical three-dimensional world. So I was being tugged back to C1, or like this physical world, and I sort of pleaded out loud that I wanted to stay. The person/friend said something to the effect of, "What? You don't want to open your eyes?" Weird statement, ... Wake up? Then I recall shortly after seeing a very tall being, reminded me of like the, what people call archangels. That crossed my mind when I saw him. And I have him in parentheses because I don't think I could tell whether this tall being was male or female. He was full of joy, and we were ecstatic to be together. He sort of propped me on his shoulders, and I recall smiling and laughing together. of such stature. Like, I'm pretty sure he was fucking huge. But yeah, that was one. I think there is another one that I wanted to read. Like, a lot of this stuff for me usually starts out as a dream, and then I start to recognize that I'm dreaming, and from there it just gets crazy. Or, it'll be just after a dream, like in that limbo state, right before you actually wake up. You know, stuff will happen then. So, in this one, it starts out as a dream, like I'm with my dad in South America, and we're like driving around, and all this crazy shit is going on with my car, and basically the message was that I should really invest in some good brakes, which really, in my physical life at the time, I needed fucking good brakes. So it was kind of like Spirit was like saying, hey dude, this is what's gonna happen if you don't, like, just go fucking do it, because you're putting your life and everyone else's life at risk. So I was like, okay. And then it leads to an OBE. So I said, this was, by the way, in April 25th, 12:41 a.m. This one might be longer, but okay. It felt like my bottom half was slowly lifted up into the air. Major energy. I put this in parentheses. Wow. Wow. I wrote the OBE down during the OBE, and just now I recalled a fragment of the experience from this writing. So basically, like, the way that I remembered this experience was because I had like a flash of recalling the fact that I wrote it down, and then I realized, wait, I never wrote it down, like, you know, in real life, and then I just triggered the whole memory to unfold. So it was very precise. I'm talking about the energy that I was feeling. It was very precise, the influx of energy. Like, it almost had beeps that were timed at every, let's say, 3 to 4 seconds. There'd be another, like, 5 pulse / beats. It reminded me somehow of a hospital with doctors and nurses on the other side with some advanced technology that they were using to bring me over to that side, as well as heal me. I'm just going to say this. At the time, a couple months before, I went to a Tool concert, which is, by the way, like my favorite band ever. And like somebody fell on top of me and like really messed up my back. So, you know, plus I had been in a car accident, so I was having a lot of body issues, injuries, you know. So I said, we're using to bring me over as well as heal me. There was a strong impression, and it in fact reminded me very much of my Kundalini awakening in 2008. The reality of this other reality, these beats or pulses increased until there was no gaps between them, and it was only a great hum of energy, a great blast, which would be a better term maybe. I could feel it and hear it, literally, crescendoing. It tickled so much in the head region, I started laughing in the OBE. There was even like a blinding light that got brighter / grid-like during this point. So I think it was kind of like a really bright white grid made out of light that was just getting more and more intense. And then I put interesting vibes, LOL, because usually the vibes or sensations that I feel during an OBE tends to be just like vibrations, you know, feeling like tickling sensations in certain areas, stuff like that. This was like a whole different ballgame. Okay, also, I felt again like my legs were like noodles / ribbons waving up and down, left and then right. I was even twisted from my torso / hips, side to side, kind of like that. It would pause at the end of each twist for about 5 seconds. Then twist me a little more. Okay, yeah. So it would be like this. You know, these are like my bottom half turning, and then it would pause. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then it would twist to the right, and it would pause. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and go a little deeper. Twist me a little more for a second or two, and then release. And then I put healing ? Like, I remember thinking that at the time, like, what is going on? Like, it felt like something or somebody or whatever was trying to help me out with my back issues. Then I decided to roll out of body in the usual manner. I did a floating headstand and stayed there, LOL. That's funny to me because sometimes, like, it's almost like my second body, astral body, whatever, the form that you're kind of in sometimes, like, sometimes it'll just, like, do shit on its own. Like, I remember one time I went out of body conscious. Like, I didn't consciously think, okay, I'm gonna do a somersault / backflip and land and go through the floor beneath me. Like, I didn't consciously think of that. Like, I just fucking did it. But it was so weird. So, yeah. So I did a floating headstand and I stayed there, which I don't think I did that consciously. Then an Oriental woman, pale, short, in her 40s, maybe late 40s, appeared in my room and just started doing, like, physical therapy / stretching with me. Okay, this lady, this Oriental woman, like, in her 40s, I've seen her a lot. Like, I think she was there during my K awakening. I've seen her during a lucid dream after I had DMT, like the day before, and she seemed to be like, I think she's a guide, but anyway, so she starts with me right in my room, and I just went along with it. I almost felt like she was dreaming and playing out maybe what she daily life / job, and that somehow she ended up with me. But then she said, "Where are we?" And I said, "Oh, why, we're in my room." Hazy details. So I think I started to lose some lucidity or awareness here. Then I either went back to my body and had another OBE, or she morphed into a guy. I don't know. And this guy was like in his early 20s. He was short. He had short, light / brown hair, kind of tan. Anyway, at some point he appears, and he's saying something that makes it seem like he's trying to fool me or see if I know that I'm dreaming, basically speaking to me as if I didn't know I was out of body. I don't recall what he said exactly, but I replied with, "Look, I know I'm dreaming. My physical body," I pointed out to it in my bed, "my vessel, channel, whatever it is sleeping right now. I know that." Then he said something back, can't recall exactly again, put a little frown face, but I felt it to be rather like sidestepping the fact of the matter. So I said something like, "Okay, cut the bullshit. Who are you? Seriously, who are you?" We looked into each other's eyes for a while, and I got the vibe that he let down his guard or mask and sort of settled into the fact that I was sick of being played with on that level. Then he came close to me and kissed my face with a series of pecks on my forehead down to the size of my cheeks only. And while he was doing that, I was wondering, maybe, like, should I be remembering him from somewhere? Then he told me something about what I should be focusing on. which he was saying, like, material, wealth, something I felt to be odd and kind of, like, reptilian. I almost thought maybe he was fucking with me because of whatever he said I should be focusing on. By the way, my skeptical side is still active whilst OBE. Amazing. Then he walked out my door and said bye and that we'd see each other again, /soon. Yeah, and then it goes on, like, this is a pretty long one. Then I think I got into, like, another OBE, which turned into, like, a false awakening, where you think you're awake, but you're not. So anyway, that, I'm probably gonna quit this, because this is getting pretty long, but, that was just a little snippet, and yeah, I just thought I would share. So I hope you guys have an awesome day, and I'll be sharing more. Hopefully I'll just be able to share some, like, off the top of my head, because the reading thing gets kind of intense.